Hello, welcome back to Overbooked. It's Amanda. Today we're going to be doing my September wrap-up. We're in a different little location because I didn't feel like cleaning my apartment. There's a bunch of clothes that are on the chair I usually film on, and I don't feel like moving anything around to film this video. So also it's really dark outside, so I think this would be the best lighting. I'm standing right in front of our living room window. Let's dive in though. So September was a pretty light month. I read a lot of really long books, pretty light and gentle compared to the books I've read this summer. I started my class that I'm taking for my master's program, and I've been trying to figure out how to juggle that as well as stay on top of my reading lists. So I don't think I've gotten it super down yet, but I think what I need to start doing is I need to just stop socializing at work, and then on my lunch just really focus on my homework, so then when I get home I can focus on reading or finishing up that homework so I can get done quicker and get to my TBR list, because that's what's really important in life. But without further ado, let's talk about what I actually did read. So I think I mentioned this in one of my videos, but I don't know if I elaborated on it. I finished A Woman Is No Man very late August, early September. So I think I might have included it in my August wrap up. I don't know if I really counted it because I was 100 pages to go to finish, but I'll throw it in here as well. I really enjoyed this book. It was really heartbreaking. It's about a girl who is a Palestinian immigrant, and she comes across to the United States after she marries, and it's an arranged marriage, and we go back and forth with her life and getting accumulated to her life married, and then with her in-laws living with them, and then we go towards the future with her daughter's life. And it's just this back and forth through chapters, and then throughout the book we get to see the grandmother's perspective as well, and I really enjoyed that. I really love multi-generational stories, and I love when other family members are in the chapters, because I really think that really ties the story together, is that different perspective really wraps it all in. It was really good, and I think it's really eye-opening for somebody who I don't know the experiences or the situations that a lot of female immigrants face when they come over, and I highly recommend it if you want to read it. This is a 5-star book for me. So the next book I read, which was featured pretty heavily in my Washington, D.C. vlog, and I'll link that below if you haven't watched that yet, check it out. So the book I read mainly in Washington, D.C. was The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. And I read this book because I was going to start a wedding season tag, and I just got really busy. So maybe I'll do that next summer, fall, because I think there's a lot of cool, fun romance books to read while you're going to a million weddings. So maybe I'll do that again, but that was my intention to read this book, because I thought it would be one of the books you could use for the questions, but it didn't work out. Whatever. If you see this video, feel free to make that tag, and then tag me, because I would like to do it, but whatever. I've read one Jasmine Guillory book before. I enjoyed it. They're super cheesy. They're super romance novels. They're not, they're just a very easy read. And I thought it was a fun story. Two people meet in an elevator, they get stuck, and the guy really needs a date to a wedding, so he asks her on a whim. They end up falling in love. So kind of them navigating that, and they're 2 cities away. It's a fun, really cool, it's a fun romance read. It's not something I super gravitate towards, but I think it was fun, especially on a little trip. You're not trying to read something sad and heartbreaking on a trip, which I've done before, but it was fun, and I would probably rate it 3 or 4 stars. So I've also read The Normal People by Sally Rooney. It was on my TBR list forever. I enjoyed this book. I don't know if it is there's a lot of hype, I think, for this book, and I think there's a lot of dislike for this book as well. So the book has no quotation marks in it, so it's kind of, you're oh, somebody's talking now. There's no indication oh, okay, there's no, here we go, someone is going to verbally speak, but So it throws me off, but it didn't super bother me. Like, I think it was a little annoying at first, but once you get used to it, it's fine. So it's just about these two people who met in high school, and it follows their life throughout college and I think a little bit after, and they're kind of always gravitating towards each other. And it really reminded me of the movie, which I think is based off of a book, called One Day, where it's Anne Hathaway and I don't know what else's name is, but yes, it is a book because I remember reading it. I was like, yes, that is a book. Okay. But that's what it really reminded me of, is because these two people would meet and then it was never the perfect time. And then finally when it was like, bah. So I thought it was good, but I thought it was kind of like moody and it was very dark, which I don't really, it's not that I mind that, I just didn't super enjoy it this time. And I don't know why, I can't really explain it. I just didn't super enjoy the story. I didn't really get invested into the characters. I spent half the time just being mad at them. It's like 3 stars. I don't know if I'd super recommend it to anybody. I might recommend it to people I know that would like it. Okay, so the book that took the majority of my month was Prairie Fires by Caroline Fraser, and I have a whole like 25-minute book review on this book. I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of information. It's very long. It's very dry. It's about the real life of Laura Ingalls Wilder, and it's pretty eye-opening. Mainly what the book talks a lot about is Laura and her daughter Rose's relationship, which was very complicated and went up and down a lot. Rose did a lot of ghostwriting for Laura, and she was very rebellious, very black sheep of the family. Honestly, I think she was annoying as fuck, but what are you gonna do? Almanzo and Laura had their hands full, that's all I can say, and they were fucking pioneers, so. Okay, so the last book I read, which was, it's probably gonna be one, I think I'm gonna do like a wrap-up of 2019, and I think this will be like on my top 10 list, maybe top 5 for sure, and this is called The Great Believers by Rebecca Makkai. I think I might do a book review of this video, so hopefully watch out for that soon. I loved this book. So I read it for the girly book club I do, so if you haven't heard of the girly book club, please look that up. I'll link it below. They're in a lot of cities, so hit it up. This was also a very long book, but it follows the story of 2 people, so another multi-generational book, so automatically I was like, okay, this is going to be good. And it starts in 1985, and we follow Yale Tushman, I think is his last name, and he is a gay man living in Chicago, and it's amidst the AIDS crisis in Chicago during the 80s. And one of his closest friends has recently just passed away from AIDS, and him and his partner are attending the funeral, and all of him and his friends are around, and it's just like this opener, and it's very sad, and throughout the book you see him navigate this world of this new disease that people don't know anything about, really, that people don't know enough, and they're terrified and they're very judgmental, and he has to not only deal with that, but deal with losing friends left and right, and then also deal with just having a normal life, you know, being in a relationship with somebody, having a job where he's trying to do a lot of good work. And then we also have Fiona, who is the sister of the friend who dies that we hear about in the beginning, Nico, and her name is Fiona, and we follow her life in 2015, and she has to deal with not only the loss of all these men that she lost during the 80s and early 90s, but she also currently is dealing with the, like, I don't want to say the loss of her daughter. Her daughter's not dead, but her daughter runs away, essentially, but she's an adult, and she's trying to track her down. And so you have her, like, tumultuous story where she's trying to deal with tracking down her daughter, but also coming to terms with a lot of the deaths that she had to deal with in the 80s. And it's this really, really great story, and it taught me a lot because I don't know a lot about the AIDS crisis. I don't know a ton about that era of time even. I was talking to one of my coworkers, and he suggested, if I'm really interested in this, which I am, watching Pose on Netflix. So I think I will be starting that hopefully soon, just to kind of keep going with it. I thought it was just so good, so tender, so sweet, so heartbreaking, so sad, and then there was also like happy parts, and it was just really good. And it was a book that I kind of savored. I would start reading it, and then I didn't want to finish it, honestly. Like, I wanted it to just go on forever. I loved it. I can't suggest it more. I gave it 5 stars, obviously, and I think it was amazing. That was all the books that I read in September, and October is going to be an even crazier month, you guys. I don't know how we as adults function, because I feel like the older I get, the busier I become. Love it. So be on the lookout for my August TBR video. I'm also going to be attempting to do a readathon in October. It's going to be my first time. Readathon virgin here. I'm ready to do it though. So I will link that below. It's called the Trick or Treat-a-thon. There's about, I think, 8 prompts. I'm not even gonna get into it. I'll get more into it in my October TBR video, but I'm kind of excited about it. So be on the lookout for that, and make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, all that jazz. Leave me some comments, so much love, and I will see you guys next time.